Hi guys, it's Caroline from Not So Wimpy Teacher, and today we're talking all things reading lesson engagement. We hear that word all the time now. Engagement, engaging reading lessons, engaging math lessons, engaged to the love of your life. Not talking that one today, but congratulations. Today we are talking specifically about those reading lessons and ways you can bring those readers in to your content. So grab your planners, grab your favorite Flair pens, and let's jump into some reading lesson content. I don't know about you, but my reading lesson is the first thing I do in my day. We come in, we get started, we have our calm, quiet, delightful morning meeting, and then we roll right into reading instruction. And because it is the first thing that happens in my day, I'm normally trying to teach to a little group of zombies. No one is awake yet. So that means my reading and lessons have to be exciting, welcoming, and engaging. I really have to capture my students' attention in the mornings. And these are a few of my strategies that I love to use, and the team at Not So Wimpy Teacher is excited to share with you today to get your readers wide awake and ready to go. My first strategy today is one that is so much fun because it gives students choice and it really lets them do the work. And I love it when my kids are doing the work, right? We're talking about book clubs. Book clubs are great because students are working on an independent level, which means all of my groups are reading a text that they can independently read. That means I might have 7 or 8 different book clubs running throughout my room. Now, if that sounds overwhelming, just do 3. That's okay. Do what it takes for your students to be successful in this activity. I love the choice that comes along with book clubs. I give each of my groups the opportunity to vote on the book of their choice for their lesson. And then we work on these all together, which means maybe my whole group lesson is point of view, and then my book clubs will also work on point of view within their text. So every group is working in a different text, but every group is working on the same skill. There's student choice, there's independence, they're getting to work with their classmates, which we know they always love. Talk about engaging. Give book clubs a shot in your classroom. The next activity is one that is so much fun because, again, it's putting the power in your students' hand. I'm talking about a book show and tell. Let your students share with their classmates books they are loving. Our rules, you have to finish the book and you need to write about the book. Now, that one's just because I like to get my kids writing, but I do suggest giving your students some kind of recording guide so they know what they're going to say before they go into their presentation. That's just good life skills. You always want to know what you're going to say before you go into your presentation. I don't know about you, my state also has communication standards for students. That is a great way to hit on those communication standards. Let your readers share the books they've been enjoying with their classmates. Think about it. You are so much more likely to read a book that's been shared with you by a dear friend. Think about your students. They are also so much more likely to read a book that's been shared with them by a dear friend. Let your students share the books they've been loving in your classroom. Tip number 3 today is a book scavenger hunt. We know that there are books hidden deep within the shelves of your classroom library. Let's get them in the hands of our kids. Let's up that engagement and get them all working in great text throughout that literacy block in your day. A book scavenger hunt is great, not only for the beginning of the year in your classroom, but run them all year long. Beginning of the year, it's wonderful because it gets your students familiar with your classroom library and some of the options. I love to do them throughout the year because it continues to introduce students to text in your library, and it's a great way to reinforce those genre lessons that we're doing. Maybe we're working specifically in nonfiction text. Sounds like we need a scavenger hunt where you find a biography, an autobiography, a narrative nonfiction text, a book about space, a book about dolphins. Give your students opportunities to explore in your classroom library and connect it back to that whole group lesson. Anytime students think there's a challenge, they're hunting for something, they're solving something, the engagement is going to come naturally. Set up a book scavenger hunt. My final suggestion for you today for exciting and engaging reading activities is one for a very specific time in your reading block. Now, my reading block is a whole collection of activities. So we have a whole group reading lesson, time for small groups, a writing lesson, and then a phonics lesson, all of those pieces make up what we would call our literacy block. Now, pick the one that's probably the most challenging for classroom management. Did I hear small groups? We have a winner. Small group time is so challenging. Now there's a perfect moment. There is a perfect moment. All of your students are in their seats, working quietly, reading peacefully. Your small group hasn't made it to your table yet, but they're coming. And there is a moment of silence. It's a dream, really. And it lasts for 7 seconds. In that same magical universe, there is also the ability for your students to sit and read to themselves for 20 to 30 minutes so you can have a small group in peace. See? Also exists in a separate universe. My suggestion for you today is one that's going to make it so you can really work with your students during your small group without all of the interruptions. No, you may not use the bathroom. No, you may not sharpen your pencil. No, I will not explain to you how to do this activity for the 17th time. Let me work with my small group. That time is valuable. Valuable time with your kids, and you don't want to have to give it up for questions and interruptions. So what do? You run centers. And you don't just run any centers. You run these centers. Now, this resource includes everything. It's not just centers. We have it for 2nd grade and 3rd grade for the whole year. Talk about everything you could ever need, right? It has the PowerPoints, the teaching guide, the notebook activities, the assessment tools, and the centers for every reading unit you could need to teach in your year as a 2nd or 3rd grade teacher. I mean, what's better than that? Digging into these resources, I really just want to look at the centers with you today. Each of the centers for each of the unit includes a few really important pieces. You have a recording guide for your students and then 5 different activities. The recording guide is great because it keeps all of their work in one nice, neat place. It makes student upkeep easy, and then it makes grading really easy because it's all right there for you. In addition to that, it has a built-in early finisher. Oh, you finished all of your stations for the week? Color the front cover, a built-in early finisher task. And something I love, all of the centers are really similar across each unit. You have sorts, you have color coding, you have sentence writing, all around the reading skill that they're focused on. And because they become familiar centers, you don't have to explain how to do them every single time. Think about how much academic time is lost when you're having to explain to students, oh, here's how you play today's center game. The way I run these in my classroom, I have all 5 centers. I prep them all. They're easy to prep. Print them on nice bright paper. Laminate them if you want to keep them from year to year. Have them set up around the room in 5 different stations. And then I have my students just work through each station. They are recording in their recording guides. They know how to do the work, and they will leave you alone so you can have the most productive small group time. The engagement is built in with these centers. Students are playing games, they are getting to work quietly with their classmates, and they're practicing those whole group skills in a fun and exciting way. It's games and activities, so they don't realize they're just practicing the skill. They think they're doing something fun and exciting, but you know they are building their knowledge and understanding. And what's better than that? I know we brought our planners along, and I hope you have some fun ideas filled in to get you thinking about what you're going to start maybe even next week to up the engagement during that reading time in your day. How are you going to add these activities into your literacy block? I want to hear down in the comments, which are you excited to use? Book clubs, book scavenger hunt, a book show and tell, or incorporating more centers into your small group time? How are you going to engage your readers? I hope I've engaged you today. If so, give us a like, pop down in the comments. Let's have a conversation about these activities and suggestions. And most importantly, I hope you have a not so wimpy day.